Welcome back. Today, we'll be diving into the latest developments in both domestic and international news. From major shifts in the media landscape to significant geopolitical moves, there's a lot to cover. Let's get started. In a surprising move, the New York Times editorial board has announced it will no longer endorse candidates in New York elections. This decision marks a significant departure from the paper's long-standing tradition, which has included endorsements in local races such as congressional, Senate, and mayoral contests. The only exception will be presidential elections, where the board will continue to provide its endorsement. Kathleen Kingsbury, the paper's opinion editor, made the announcement without specifying the reasons behind the change. However, she assured readers that the Times would still offer perspectives on candidates and issues. This decision reflects a broader trend among newspapers that are scaling back on endorsements, partly due to concerns about alienating readers and the challenges posed by reduced staff and resources. In a move to further its commitment to reducing reliance on fossil fuels, China has approved the construction of 11 new nuclear reactors across 5 provinces, including Jiangsu, Guangdong, and Shandong. This decision, announced after a State Council executive meeting chaired by Premier Li Qiang, represents a significant investment of over 220 billion yuan, roughly $30.8 billion. The new reactors are expected to take about 5 years to construct and will contribute to China's ambitious targets of peaking carbon emissions between 2026 and 2030, with the ultimate goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2060. With 56 nuclear reactors already in operation, providing around 5% of the country's electricity, this expansion underscores China's commitment to transitioning to cleaner energy sources. The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, recently revised its job growth figures, revealing that the U.S. economy added 818,000 fewer jobs between March 2023 and March 2024 than initially reported. This revision, the largest since 2009, reduced the previously reported employment growth by 0.5%. Economists had anticipated a significant adjustment, but the scale of the revision has sparked concerns about the Federal Reserve's interest rate policy. With interest rates already at a 23-year high as the Fed aims to curb inflation, this new data could increase pressure on the Fed to consider cutting rates in their upcoming September meeting. This revision comes at a critical time for Vice President Kamala Harris, who is shaping the administration's economic message amidst criticism of President Biden's handling of inflation. Despite leading in some polls, Harris faces a tough battle in convincing voters that the administration's economic policies are effective. Pro-Palestinian protests near the Democratic National Convention in Chicago escalated into clashes with police, leading to numerous arrests. The confrontation intensified as police reportedly pinned remaining protesters in a plaza, though Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling denied that this was a deliberate tactic. More than 70 protesters were arrested, according to the National Lawyers Guild of Chicago, and the organization Behind Enemy Lines, which helped organize the demonstration, reported that the arrests occurred outside the Israeli consulate. The protests were in response to the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict and followed a series of smaller, mostly peaceful demonstrations during the convention. The Israeli consulate condemned the violence and expressed disappointment in the support the mayor had shown for the anti-Israel protests. This incident underscores the rising tensions and divisions surrounding the Israel-Hamas conflict, even within U.S. cities. Former President Barack Obama delivered a powerful speech at the Democratic National Convention, endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris and sharply criticizing Donald Trump's approach to leadership. Obama accused Trump of focusing more on his personal grievances than on addressing the real issues affecting Americans, stating that Donald Trump is not losing sleep over the concerns of ordinary citizens. Obama emphasized the need for empathy and understanding in politics, urging Americans to listen to each other's concerns and to bridge the divides that Trump has, in Obama's view, sought to widen. He concluded by praising Harris's record as vice president and endorsing her as the future leader of the Democratic Party. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, has reported significant changes in the racial composition of its incoming freshman class following the Supreme Court's decision to ban affirmative action. The percentage of Black students in the class of 2028 dropped sharply from 15% to 5%, while Hispanic students decreased from 16% to 11%. Meanwhile, the proportion of Asian American students increased from 40% to 47%. MIT President Sally Kornbluth acknowledged the shift, noting that while the class remains outstanding across multiple dimensions, the decision by the Supreme Court has led to a decrease in racial and ethnic diversity, a hallmark of the MIT community's efforts over the past several decades. A federal judge in Texas has blocked the Federal Trade Commission's FTC rule that would have banned non-compete agreements nationwide. The ruling, issued by U.S. District Judge Ada Brown, came in response to a lawsuit filed by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which argued that the FTC had overstepped its authority. The FTC had initially proposed the ban, arguing that non-compete clauses negatively affect competitive conditions in labor markets and restrict workers' opportunities. However, businesses and various industry groups have pushed back, arguing that non-competes protect vital interests, such as research investments and workforce training. The FTC has indicated that it will likely appeal the ruling, and while this decision marks a significant setback, it does not prevent the agency from addressing non-competes through case-by-case enforcement actions. That's all for tonight's news update. Thank you for joining us. We'll continue to monitor these stories and bring you the latest developments. Stay safe, stay informed, and have a good night. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update.